Yes, people, what's going on? Egal Talks Football. We're back again with another video. And you want to know something? This was supposed to be a panel show with several people, and everyone was rushing to get home. So we kind of got delayed. We got some good news. We're going to potentially be getting a Man City fan on. We're going to be getting another Liverpool fan on. But the main man himself has given us the time. And big up to CALLUM. Thank you for joining us. CALLUM, if you guys don't know, one of the main guys over there at Coppish, or one of the big three, I would say, over there, and one of the most calmest Liverpool fans you're gonna meet. Like there's a lot of Liverpool fans that get into arguments with me all the time, but even if you fully disagree with me, you always find a way to say it in the nicest way. I appreciate it. How you doing, Callum?
I'm good, bro. I can't get angry with you. You've always been good to me, man. So I appreciate you having me.
Even when you find a banter post about you, it's you just being like, "We're gonna win." It's always positive, so I like that. Yeah. I'm kind of like that.
No, I'll be honest. Yesterday's game, I predicted a draw yesterday.
Really? I predicted a draw versus Sporting.
Did you?
Yeah. So I'm not as delusional as people think I am. You know what I mean?
I have my shame. Don't be fooled. Though. I have my shameless moments. You've seen me get clipped up when I thought we're getting Caicedo and all that.
Yeah. Also, I seen you going for quads. Going for this. What is it? How many Champions League now? 7.
Yeah.
And we also got Sarab in the building. If you guys don't know, Sarab is a Liverpool fan. He also works with, what is it? The Born Red FC.
Born Reds. Right? Yeah.
Born Red FC. Yeah. So just to let everyone know, Martin unfortunately couldn't make it, but we will see if Patrick will join us at some point to talk about Man City. But while we're here, and I got 2 Liverpool fans, let's talk about Liverpool. I got your fan base really triggered on me for simply talking about your club. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, oh, I'm baiting people or I'm not baiting people. I'm just simply speaking my mind. I don't want you guys to win the league over Arsenal, obviously. I have no vested interest in you guys winning the league over Man City because I feel like we're going to be in the race. So why would I then sit here and cheer for you guys at the top of the league? I'm hopeful that somebody else is going to drop off, but hey, it is what it is. You guys are playing really good. And Liverpool, can they keep this momentum going? How far can it go? Is there any warning signs? And we also have a Man City fan. Patrick is in the building. Big up, Patrick.
Sorry, man. I how you doing, man? Sorry, I just came from the hospital,
no worries,
I just came straight.
We just got started.
No, it's fine. Nice to meet the panel.
Yeah, man.
Nah, man. It is what it is at this point in time. I'm hosting for the Man City fans watching. At 8 o'clock, I'll be hosting prayers. We're gonna pray for Sunday. So if you want to pray with us on for Sunday, please come in. Bring your hymn books. It is what it is.
We're gonna talk about Man City in a second, but let's just start with Liverpool. Can Liverpool keep Can Liverpool maintain this momentum? I'm gonna start with you, Callum, and then I'll throw it over to Sarab in a second. Take it away.
Yeah, we absolutely can. I'll be very transparent. At the beginning of the season, I predicted Liverpool to finish 3rd. I think the fact that we didn't go and sign anyone else apart from Kayser, I think would have come back to bite us. When I saw Rodri go down with an injury, I never wish injury on anyone, but I just know how important he is to that Man City team. I said that I think now we'd finish 2nd above Man City. I had Arsenal winning the league. I know it's going to sound crazy. I still have Arsenal as the main threats to the league. However, at the moment, with how we're playing, the momentum we've got, the way the players are buying into Slot's philosophy, the way he's able to adapt in game, I am confident we can keep the momentum going, but we do have a tough run of fixtures. I'm not taking this Man City game for granted. I know they're in bad form, but sometimes when you back a wounded lion into a corner, that's when they come out swinging, and that's when you got to be careful. So I hope the players don't look at this as a gimme and think that we're just going to walk into Anfield and get 3 points. We have to play City properly. And if we do that, then I expect we'll win, but we can't take it for granted. But to answer your question in short, yeah, we can keep the momentum going.
There's no warning signs. There's nothing to be concerned of.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of times teams have been able to sort of play through our midfield, and if they're able to get through our midfield. But again, where Slot differs from Klopp in terms of system-wise, we'd usually have the fullbacks bombing up. So when teams played through our midfield under Klopp, it would just be to two centre backs who are left by themselves to defend, whereas now it's a back four that's left to defend. So rarely are we outnumbered on a transition or a counter attack, which helps as well. But yeah, I've not seen anything. I mean, we are very reliant on Gravenberch. We haven't got anyone who kind of replicates what he does. Salah, from an attacking standpoint, we're scoring goals, but 67% or something like that have come directly from Salah, whether it be a goal or an assist. That needs to change. The others need to step up on a more regular basis. But I can't sit here and complain, Egal, bro. Like we've lost one game all season, one game that no one expected us to lose. But even Nottingham Forest have kind of surprised a lot of teams so far this season. Bro, I cannot sit here and complain. I'm over the moon with how we started. And if we navigate the next month of fixtures, then yeah, I'm gonna start being shameless. So watch out, bro.
Sarah, what about you? Can Liverpool keep this momentum going? People are worried. People keep mentioning, like myself, Arsenal fans, mentioning your opponents that you face, mentioning the easy fixtures, mentioning the fact that you've had Mo Salah and Van Dijk and all these guys relatively fit and no distractions. Maybe not as much adversity as a Man City, as an Arsenal. Do you think that is BS, or do you honestly think that this is just one of the main reasons why you guys are also kicking on so much?
Look, Egal, I think it's funny to say. Obviously, Callum, I watch your content. I think your content's great.
I'm a fan as well, bro. I'm a good friend of Abby, so I'm a fan.
Within the BNR community that on our show, I have given Arsenal a load of credit over the last year or so, and to the point where a lot of Liverpool fans think I'm an undercover Arsenal fan because I've always said that. I get it, Callum, all the time from my.
Yeah, I get the same.
I get a lot of stick for it. Because they've not, generally speaking, Egal, you have not challenged properly for the Champions League, and obviously the Premier League, you've just come up short the last couple of years. And obviously Liverpool have won those competitions in the last 5 or 6 years. But my whole narrative on that was look at Arsenal's progression. We were the second best team challenging City every season. Arsenal have just come out of nowhere and overtaken us. And obviously coming into the season, similarly to Callum and a lot of Liverpool fans, obviously there's a few Delulus in the fan base, as you have with everyone. I had Liverpool third, and because of Arne Slot coming in, not many signings have been made. Chiesa, does it really count? Yes and no. You can make a point on that. I just thought we were lacking in midfield. Obviously, you make the point about Gravenberch, Callum and Gal. If Gravenberch gets injured, I don't see any player that can do his job very, very well because we haven't got not a like for like, but somebody like Endo is a very different type of number 6. He's more combative. Ryan Gravenberch likes ball to feet. He's more of an 8 type of number 6. That's why we were obsessed with the Zubimendi signing. And again, coming into the season, we have had a decent run of fixtures to start the season. That's not a lie, but you can only beat who's in front of you. And the more teams you beat, the more momentum you build. And obviously, when it comes to the big games, i.e., you saw the Real Madrid game going away to Manchester United, regardless of their circumstances, it is probably one of Liverpool's tougher games of the season. We saw that last year. And to go there and to implement a 3-0 win in Arne Slot's third game in charge, you could see, Egal, from his early stages of Arne Slot's it's still very, very early, but I'm talking about first 3 or 5 games. You could see he clearly implemented a style of play, and he's demonstrated that over a longer period of time. I did not have Liverpool in a title race. I only started saying Liverpool are going to challenge for the league really 3 weeks ago. And now I have them as favourites. I had Arsenal at the start of the season. I then changed to Manchester City, but then I've gone to Liverpool. You could call me a flip-flop all you want, but it's testament to how good Arne Slot's done. And long may it continue. I think beating Real Madrid, Egal, for the first time in 14 years, 15 years is a real statement, regardless of their circumstances. It's a team that we've really struggled against. And long may it continue. We've got a big game on the weekend, obviously, Man City fan at the bottom. And they're in a bit of a rot. I'm skeptical. I think we will beat them, but I'm more scared at the fact, Egal, that they haven't won in 6. I think people say, why are you saying all that? They're a wounded animal. They have a point to prove. When do you ever hear Manchester City haven't won in 6 matches? And they already have a wretched record at Anfield. That's why I'm more scared. Everything's going for Liverpool. It's going a bit too good for us. And there will be a drop at some point. I just hope it's not on the weekend.
You know what? I was just going to say that. I get crucified for saying Liverpool will not maintain this level of football for the remainder of the season. There's people who genuinely believe you guys are going to go and win 10 out of your next 12 again. That's how some people are speaking, as if you guys are not going to drop points. I think you will drop points, but the question is, are you going to drop points in bunches? Are you going to have a situation where you kind of have to retool and redevelop yourselves. And can certain players, Gravenberch, maintain the form? Because we know Mo Salah and other people can maintain the form. We haven't really seen Gravenberch do this for a sustained period. Maybe you guys tell me, have you seen Gravenberch be this good for a sustained period? Because he's really become a really good player for you guys, a big player. And we're going to talk about City in a second, Patrick. But you watching Liverpool?
No, I wanted to talk about Ryan. When he came to Liverpool, right? Because I followed him a bit. When he came to Liverpool, even when he went to Bayern and they were sitting him on the bench, I was like, City, look for this guy, get him through. And I remember I had an argument with a City fan who told me, piss off, you just like these dead ballers. I was like, nah, he's not a dead baller. He's a good baller. It's just he needs like somebody to. Dog will come good. Dog will come good. But what I was saying is Ryan. I was like, why is Klopp leaving him on the bench? That's what you're missing. And obviously, he gave him a few games, but things were not well. Like Klopp kept on putting me in and out, and I was disappointed at Bayern. I was like, Bayern, why are you buying this guy? He's good, and you're trying to move on Kimmich, but you're still playing Kimmich because you say you don't want to give him a contract. So now this thing doesn't shock me because I was like, in the Prem sometimes all you need is legs and skill and engine in a midfield, and you do good. Because Pep Guardiola, I remember saying this himself, that City at a point in time were struggling in certain games with somebody who's a muscle guy, but also technical. So he brought a tall guy. He said, I need a tall guy. Then he brought, what's his name? Rodri. Now this Ryan fella just has everything. His physicality, he's tall, he can get around, and he's very good technically, and he can play the position as a 10. So it's good for people who can play all over the midfield. They know how to pass the ball to number 10. They know how to hold the ball very well. And having McAllister and Szoboszlai, I knew that something is going to click here. But I'm very shocked, honestly, as a fan, to see how this new manager has come in and it's just clicked like this. And somebody was like, oh, Klopp had the foundations. No, he didn't. He was not doing very well when he was leaving. So I don't think Liverpool are going to drop. I'm one of the guys saying Liverpool are not going to drop, because if you look at the other teams, even the teams that are given a threat, we just all seem like something is not clicking. Look at Aston Villa. They sold Douglas to Juventus, and that was a very good key player for them. They decided to bring a new midfield. Obviously, it's the same midfield, but they just restructured it. And then you look at Arsenal. That's the team that I'm just waiting for it to spark. Odegaard is back. You guys are sparking. Apart from Arsenal, even Newcastle are struggling with Tonali, who's come back. And Tonali is supposed to be the guy who's supposed to hold that midfield. So I think Liverpool won't drop. Even they'll get draws, but I don't think they'll drop as bad as the other teams have. And this hopium that people are saying that maybe Man City will catch anybody, I think it's just hopium. But for me, I think Ryan.
Talk about Man City in a second.
Yeah, but I think Ryan is not going to drop. I'm telling you, guy, you'll be disappointed. I think it's just the beginning.
There's one more thing. Ryan Gravenberch, has he been this good for you guys, or is just this season? Obviously, was there signs of this at all, Sarib?
I think it's tricky to say, because if you speak to most Dutch fans, and I've spoken to quite a few of them over the last couple of months, especially Feyenoord fans and Ajax fans per se, all involved in this Arne Slot kind of thing, they've all said to me, if you know football, especially Dutch football, Ryan Gravenberch was one of the brightest prospects coming out the Ajax ranks. But it was a matter of him maturing as a player. We all knew the quality was there. A couple of years ago, Egal, there was a game where Liverpool played in lockdown, where we played Ajax in the Champions League at home, and they lost 1-0 at Ajax. But Gravenberch was really, really impressive. And I was keeping eyes on this fella. I was like, who is this? And he was, I think, Ajax's youngest ever player, if I'm not mistaken. I think he made his debut at 16 or 17. Someone can quote me on that. But he was really, really impressive. So I kept up with him. And obviously, we had an interest in him before he went to Bayern Munich. Obviously, if Bayern Munich are after you, and Liverpool after you, Manchester United are after you, you're obviously a good player. You obviously went to Bayern Munich. Didn't work out for him. He left after a year. Took a year for him to settle into England. And it happens when you've been around. I think people, what they fail to understand about Ryan Gravenberch, this is his 6th or 5th manager he's been playing on in the last 4 years. And it's very hard to build consistency as a young player, especially when you've been told one instruction, another instruction, this and that. Thomas Tuchel, Julian Nagelsmann, Erik ten Hag, he's Jurgen Klopp, Arne Slot. He's complete 5 different managers he's had now. Even in the national team, he's got Ronald Koeman. So it's very hard for players to take in a lot lot of ideas very, very quickly, especially at a young age. But I think this season he's come of age and he's found his position in the number 6, where Arne Slot has grabbed him and said, you know what, you're going to be my number 6. You're going to be the orchestrator in my midfield. And some players, Egal, and I'm sure there's many players at Arsenal that need the same thing. They just need confidence. I look at Kai Havertz, the player that he was at Chelsea, and Arteta's installed that confidence in him, and he's become a goal scorer for you, especially at the back end of last season. And some players just need that to just, become a better player. The quality is, you can't deny the quality has always been there. It's just about evolving that quality and making it known. I don't know what you think about that, Callum.
Yes.
I was going to come to you in a second, Callum, but I was just going to say big up to everyone in the chat. There's quick super chat. Let me just read this quickly before we go any further. Shout out AK. AK says LFC have had a tough UCL fixtures out of the EPL sides, sat at the top of the table in the league and in Europe. The narrative is lazy. Rivals are worried. To be fair, rivals are looking at Liverpool and they are slightly worried. But I do think there is a case to be made. But we'll speak about that in a second. Callum,
Egal, there's no case. It's just hopium.
No, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. I have a case. Anyways, Callum.
All right. So I want to pick up on a few things that have been said. So everyone's expecting us to have a drop off. So I expect Liverpool to have a blip between now and the end of the season. Maybe a couple of blips. I certainly don't see Liverpool going undefeated from now to the end of the season because the league and the Champions League is too hard. Plus squad rotation, cups, etc. There's a difference between having a blip and a drop-off. I'd be surprised if we had a drop-off. I think unless we got a lot of injuries in a very sustained or concentrated period, I don't think we'll have a drop-off because of the style of play that we have.
2 losses?
Say again, sorry?
What's a blip? 3 losses?
2-3 losses at the most. But like I don't think we'll have a drop-off because of how we're playing. Plus, I think what's going under the radar at the moment is the fact we have had injuries. We just navigated it well. I think everyone can sit here and kind of agree Alisson Becker's the best goalkeeper in the world. If he's not number 1, he's number 2. We've lost him for at least 2 months now, or about a month and a half. Jota, in my opinion, is top 5 best finishers in the Premier League. We ain't had him for a while either. Like, Trent's been out injured at periods. Who else have we had? Tsimikas is currently out injured at the moment. We've had a period where McAllister was carrying a knock and an injury. We've had Chiesa out all season. Like, the narrative that Liverpool haven't had any injuries is kind of going under the radar. Like, even when we played you, Egal, everyone was talking. Sorry, Elliot, shout out to Big Country. Elliot's been out all season pretty much.
Konate was also out. I think
Konate, exactly. So the narrative that we haven't had injuries is kind of crazy. Like, even when we played you, Egal, the whole narrative was how are Arsenal going to cope with the injuries. On the day that the actual game happened, I think we had more main players out than you did. Now, granted, you had been dealing with other stuff as well, so I get it. But I think the drop-off narrative is kind of coming from a place of hope as opposed to sort of looking at fact or any sort of historical data. Also, Klopp's foundation. Patrick, I've got to disagree, bro. Klopp left a very good foundation in terms of squad, in terms of facilities, everything that he built. I agree that his style of play was killing the players towards the end of his tenure, but I think that's where Slot's come in and he's changed things. When you talk about Grav, for example, Seb, you said it brilliantly, the fact that he's had so many different managers, so many different philosophies, different ideas. The main key, though, for me is Klopp was playing Grav in a midfield 3 where Gravenberch was the left side of the midfield 3.
Yeah.
So effectively, when you're playing in a Klopp system and you're the left of a 3, you are almost acting as a centre midfielder / wing back, because whenever Robbo goes forward, you're expected to fill in that space, just like Gini did on the left-hand side, just like Hendo did on the right-hand side. Yeah. He's now playing in a pivot where he's got more freedom, more license to actually dictate a game and play his natural role. When he came through at Ajax, he was a pivot player. That was his role. The difference is now he's just matured into more of a player. So at Ajax, he wasn't as defensively responsible as he is now at Liverpool. I didn't expect this from Gravenberch. I expected him to kick on this season. I didn't expect him to be this good defensively. However, again, I don't know if you agree with me here, Seb. I still want us to sign a defensive-minded midfielder to play next to him, because I actually think you do that, you actually unlock the full potential of Gravenberch. I don't think we're seeing the full potential right now because he's shackled. Same with McAllister. I think McAllister could actually play in a 10. And I think his goal yesterday illustrated just how good he would be in the 10 for us as well.
Ryan is a box-to-box, isn't he? Ryan is a box-to-box.
Yeah, Ryan's box-to-box.
He was a goal scorer at Brighton. I'm just going to say to everyone who follows me on Twitter or is constantly triggered by the things that I say, I genuinely don't say it for effect. I genuinely do believe Liverpool will have a blip. I agree with you. I'm not saying you're going to drop off and lose like 10 points and go and get 3 losses and a draw. But I'm simply saying you will not be able to sustain this level, especially when the fixtures swing. You are going to be facing tougher opponents, especially away from home. You have had a relatively good schedule in the league. In the Champions League, I have to say fair play. You guys went and beaten everybody you've played in the Champions League. You've beaten some of the best teams in the world.
Sorry,
even
guys,
if they don't have injuries, you got to give them credit.
Could you not argue the other way though, Egal, and say that there's a chance Liverpool actually get better as the season progresses? We've got a new manager, new philosophy. I don't actually think we've played brilliant this season. I think we've been very structured and very measured, but I don't think we've hit second, third, fourth gear yet. I think in a couple of games we've hit second gear. I don't think we've hit third, fourth, or even come close to hitting fifth gear. This is a new manager, new philosophy, new style of play. There's every argument, in my opinion, to suggest that we'll actually get better as the season goes on.
Have Liverpool peaked? Maybe, maybe not.
No, they haven't.
Maybe,
That's
maybe
scary,
not.
Egal.
Because one thing you need to know. Yes, you're right. You have a new manager. You have more time. You can continue to improve as a team, and you can maybe kick on even more. But this is the most dangerous you can be when you're relatively unknown. Your players might not be unknown. Your squad might not be unknown. But what your manager and your manager's tactics for the first 10, 15 games, teams are trying to figure you out. They're trying to get as much of a sample size to study you. And teams lower down the table did not have enough of a sample size to understand how you're going to play or how you're going to analyze things. So maybe with more sample size, you will now have a way to stop Liverpool's attack.
But there's no way. Sorry to cut you, Seb. There's no way of studying Slot, because again, I've picked up on this. I don't know if anyone else has. I think Liverpool approach games almost like a Floyd Mayweather approach boxing. The first 2-3 rounds, Floyd would always start slow, everyone would say. But that would be him downloading information, seeing what strengths the opposition has, what weaknesses they have, nullify the strengths, and then capitalize on the weaknesses. If you look at Liverpool's season so far, first half of every game has kind of been measured. Second half is where we've actually put teams to bed, because Slot is looking at what's going on. He's adapting in-game, and then we're killing off teams. I don't think you can study for Slot at the moment because he's not doing the same tactics every game. Klopp's tactics were pretty much, this is who we are, this is what we're going to be, try and deal with it. Because we had the players, because we had the energy, no one could really deal with it apart from Man City. Slot's team have approached every game so differently this season. It's unreal. I'll use 2 games, which I believe are probably our standout performances. Man United away, where Gravenberch acted as a box-to-box midfielder and was winning the ball high up and destroying them from further forward, which allowed us to capitalize and get chances at a high rate in that game. And Leverkusen, whereby we played Jones in the 10 and we played a false 9, which allowed Tar not to be able to pin anyone, and we played through them that way. There is no way to pin down Slot's tactics at the moment because he doesn't have one style of play.
Very adaptable manager. He adapts.
Do you think he's doing that now, though? What I'm trying to say is he's still in the studying. Like, he's come in and said, let me see how I can. But eventually, maybe next season, you'll find when he brings other players, he'll settle with the gameplay. Because eventually, you have to.
This is who he is, you know. This is actually who he is. I done a lot of research on him before. This is who he is. Like, every video I watched of him.
Okay, Grant.
Sorry, every video I watched of him, it was like he doesn't have a specific tactic. He might have a specific formation or a starting formation. But even yesterday, in possession against Real Madrid, we were 4-3-3. Out of possession, it was 4-2-3-1. So it's almost like you don't know what he's going to do because he changes on the fly.
Oh, so he's one of those managers.
He's what Pep does. Let's be real. Pep does it all the time.
Yeah, Pep will change changes it midway season when it starts failing, or he changes it, but he'll still stick to a certain thing. I see what you're trying to say. So he's sort of the manager that if he sees how a team is playing, I'll react this way. Not already that I'm stuck with these tactics. We're gonna pass you to what? No, he'll say, you know what? Today let's counter. Today let's kick it over there. Oh, I see. That's gonna be very scary then.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is so. One thing I want to say is another thing that people are looking at is you guys are doing your job against the types of teams that you should be doing it. The Wolves, the Crystal Palaces, the teams lower down the table, you are capitalizing on all those games. And I think you've won every single game against the teams in the bottom half of the table. Now, you've not played too many of the teams in the top half of the table. You played Arsenal, you played Chelsea, you played Brighton, and I think that's really it. Sorry, is Brighton even in? Yeah, Brighton's in the top half.
They're
So
level on points with you.
out of your 12 games, you've had what? 4 games against the teams in the top half of the table. Am I correct? Aston Villa also. So 5 games. You've had 5 games out of your 12 games have been against teams in the top half of the table.
Man
Nottingham
United
Forest.
were at the time of playing them, but I don't know.
Played Forest as well.
Nottingham Forest.
Forest
So
as well.
that's
Where you taking this cigar? Finish it. Let me see. Where you
so,
taking
so
this?
my and in those games you dropped 3 points. The rest of the games, which are what 7 games against the bottom half teams, you won all 7.
Yeah,
If you played more games against the top half of the table, when you play more games against the top half of the table, I would expect you to drop more points because last year where you dropped a lot of your points were against top 6 sides.
Egal, I want to explain. This is not the same team
bro.
as last
Yeah,
year.
it's deep
Not
slate.
the same team as last year. We might have the same players, but the way we play is completely different. Look at the start. Look, I'll give you an example. It took Liverpool 16 games to get 6 clean sheets last season. No, 20 or something. We did that in like 12 or 13 games. That for me already is a change in our approach from last season. Like you said before, like Callum, I said, and you, Egal, you said it yourself, and Patrick, we're much more controlled. We're not as frantic. We're adaptable. I'll give you an example about yesterday. We all watched the game yesterday. I don't know how tactical you lot are, but I noticed this yesterday. So in the second half, especially, what he did, he pushed Conor Bradley into the right half space. He left Ryan Gravenberch in the middle. Liverpool in a 4-1-5 shape. So he allowed Alexi McAllister to get more forward. As you said, he's been a goal threat. And where did the goal come from? Right, Conor Bradley was in the right half space, the areas that Jones, Elliott, Soberslide normally pick up. Bradley flicks around the corner for McAllister. McAllister makes the late run into the box, and he puts it in the back in there. Because he has belief in his place. He allowed Ryan Gravenberch, who was basically dictating the game because he's so in control of possession, pushed Diaz, Salah, McAllister, Bradley forward, which then illustrated why we scored in the second half twice.
I'm confused though. What does this have to do with me saying your strength in schedule, second half of the season?
He's trying to tell you that they complete different ways now.
We're adaptable, is what I'm saying to you. We're not the same as last season. You said we're the same as last season. We're not the same as last season.
Forget about last season. Simply put, playing Ipswich, Wolves, and Crystal Palace away is not the same as playing Tottenham, Man City, and Aston Villa away.
We also played Man United away as well, though.
Exactly.
I know Man United and Everton are derbies for you and they're tough games. I'm not including those. You guys did have some tough away grounds to go to. I would say maybe 50%. Where you look at Arsenal, we've gone to Newcastle, we've gone to Chelsea, we've gone to Aston Villa, we've gone to Tottenham, we've gone to Man City. We've gone to 5 massive away grounds. On top of that, we went down to 10 men against Bournemouth and lost to that super team.
It's not our fault, though, is it?
No. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. But this is something that I'm going to look at and I'm going to say to myself, you know what? We've had a relatively difficult start to the season compared to you guys, in my opinion.
And in the league, yeah, but then I can caveat by saying in the Champions League you've had it easier than us.
Fair enough.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but the point is, it's end of November, and people say, "Oh, it's end of November. How are you talking about the title race and things like that?" But the point is, Egal, we might have had a more difficult start to the season, but you can only play who's in front of you, and we all know how important momentum is in football. And the more games you win, the more confidence you build as a team. Especially when you've got a new coach, you should know this, Egal. You have had basically you've got a newer manager. Arteta came in 5 years ago. From what he was when he started and what he is now is completely different. You give managers time and they implement their philosophy correctly. Some managers do it quicker than the others, which is why Arne Slot's getting the credit he deserves. He's doing it in 20 games, whereas it took Arteta 5 years. And I do believe your squad was a lot weaker than to what we have under Arne Slot. But the point is, Egal, the point I'm trying to make to you is Liverpool have played the lesser teams, you can say, but you can only beat who's in front of you, and Liverpool are doing it week in, week out. Man. And my point is, by the time we play the bigger team, because we've got a really tough end of the season.
The gap will be big.
Yeah, we've got Chelsea, we've got Arsenal. I genuinely believe if we keep beating the teams we're supposed to beat, by the time we play the bigger sides, I think the league might be wrapped up, because I believe City and Arsenal will drop more points in the season than Liverpool, and that's been proven already. It's been proven.
1 second. Stop. Arsenal have had numerous contexts behind why we've dropped the points that we've dropped. For example, red cards. If we're going to talk about Arsenal, we can talk about Arsenal
red
right
cards
now.
part of the
Yeah,
game.
but that's football. That's football.
One
Egal.
second.
That's
Simply put, big up to my guy AK here saying guard of honor game week 36 when you visit Anfield. I hope not.
I hope so. You know I'm going to be shameless. Egal, can I ask a question though?
But let me just say Arsenal's point.
Oh yeah, sorry, go on.
My point on Arsenal, guys. I think everyone's forgetting that Arsenal. We've just started to get our fluid football back. We're just starting to play better now. We're just starting to kick on from where we were. The reason why we were playing as we were to start the season, one, we had a lot of games where we were going to have to suffer, and Mikel Arteta does play different styles for different fights, similar to how you said you guys do at times also. Mikel Arteta, knowing he's going to Tottenham away, knowing he's going to Aston Villa away, knowing he's going to Newcastle away, what he does is he gets us in the mindset that we were going to suffer and we're going to go through phases in the game where we don't have the ball in our hands, and we're going to be defending, and we're going to be a little bit more pragmatic, and we're going to try to get the goal.
What are you doing, Egal? Sorry, I know. What are you doing?
That's our tactics. That's our tactics.
I feel like Arteta's got two styles of play. He's got a style of play for the big teams and a style of play for everyone else. His style of play for the big teams is literally park the bus and try and hit them a counter attack. Yeah. And then the other is just try and play free flowing football. Slot literally has a style of play for every single opposition he comes up against. It's not major tweaks, but there are still tweaks nonetheless.
Fair enough. My point is that is partially the reason why we looked more pragmatic and defensive to start the season, because of the fixture pileup and the amount of away games we've had, big away games in bunches. And when we've gotten numerous injuries, red cards, and we weren't able to have the same level of quality in those key areas where we need to hold on to possession, where we need to dictate play, where we need to create more overloads and have the freedom to free up Saka when you have an Odegaard. Now that you have just Saka by himself and no Odegaard, you can double up, triple team him, and he can somewhat nullify him, where before you'd have Odegaard there, you'd have Declan Rice on the pitch. And I'm not, people saying I'm making excuses already in the chat, but genuinely this is what happened, and I think this is the context on why Arsenal were playing so poorly and why we look so good in the last two games.
Egal, please. Even the two, was it CALLUM? Sorry, the other guy. What's your name? I think I've seen you before. The guy at the bottom. CALLUM. No, I know CALLUM. And sorry.
From BNR.
Okay, BNR. So look, I'm pretty sure right now, if I told the two guys here to also say a story like you've said, Egal, they would give me a story the same with their injuries and put it, Egal, it's part of football. And I know you have hopium. I have been there before. The hopium, don't hope. I was hoping for Liverpool to drop. I wrote in a group of YouTubers saying, these men are going to drop. And guess what? I'm being laughed at every day because there's a Liverpool YouTuber who's made it his lifelong decision to always post the results every time I'm done. I think it is what it is, Egal, at this point in time. And the thing about it is, do you remember Man City? They had the 20-point gap. What happened during that season? We actually had easy games, as people used to call them, isn't it? Against the mid-table, low table. By the time United were trying to catch up to us, that time the Jose Mourinho United, it was done and dusted. It was too many games gone. We played the big guys. We do a few draws. And Pep did not even care when United beat us with Pogba's miracle comeback. He didn't care. You know why? Because you have to beat who's in front of you. And right now, Liverpool are top of the Champions League. Don't tell me it's a miracle. Leverkusen, who here wanted Leverkusen in the Champions League? Not my team, not your team. But these guys made Leverkusen look average. Yesterday, they were playing against
Madrid.
Madrid.
We did to Sporting, who you lost.
I know, but let me finish this. I'm saying, but look at where we were in the table, both of us. I'm just saying that top of the Champions League table, top of the Premier League table, let's give them respect. And I don't think they're going to drop, because right now it's dark for a lot of teams. Even Leverkusen, as good as they are, even Sporting, look at that. They come and take advantage of us, and they look at what happened to them. But Liverpool are consistent. And when I watch the games, I also have hopium. I'm like, please, something must happen. Something must just happen. No, the way they're playing, Egal, yesterday's counter, if one of the players wasn't selfish, I don't remember his name, but Diaz was through on goal. Salah was running this side. I was like, oh my God. And there were just two defenders like, oh my God, these guys are cooking. They're cooking. Let's just admit it, they're cooking. And you know what? One more guy, Colum, I want to forget. People keep forgetting Jones. Jones is balling. Jones is balling. I'm sorry. Like, what can you do? Szoboszlai is a ball already. We know all they needed was a connection, and here it is. And Elliot is yet to come in. I'm sorry.
And
the hopium. Yeah, I'm sorry. The Hopium has
Egal,
to score.
I got to say as well. So I think everyone's focusing on the Liverpool fixtures. When they focus on Liverpool fixtures, they say, "Oh, Liverpool have had it easy in the Premier League." If you actually break down all the fixtures across the 3 competitions that we're all still in, you've had it very easy in the Carabao Cup where you could rest and rotate players. We've had West Ham and had Brighton away. No one speaks about that. Champions League, Leverkusen, AC Milan away. We've had Bologna. We've had Real Madrid yesterday. Who's the other club? Leipzig. I'm not being Champions League run talks to anyone else's Champions League run, and we're 5 in 5 in that. Plus the games in the league, we've lost 1 game and drawn 1. And the game we drew against Arsenal, we had no right to draw, but we still got a point in it. So the narrative that Liverpool have had an easy start this season, I think is very narrow-minded and only looking at Premier League fixtures. Because if you actually break down all the fixtures across the board, I'd say we've had it just as hard as the others. It's just that we've made it look a lot easier than everyone else.
Fair point. Okay, let's talk about Man City then. Take a second to talk about Man City. Actually, since I was speaking about Arsenal, do you guys want to continue just speak on that for a second? Arsenal seem like now we're going to kick off. And we now have a lot of our best players back. I've seen 2 really good performances back-to-back, 8 goals in 2 games. And the fluid football looks back. Martin and Mikel Arteta does this thing where he switches a gear and he just tells these guys go and we've been able to do that. The last year, 2 years ago, we won like 13 on the bounce. This last year, we won 17 out of 18. And yes, we've come short both times, but we can go on runs. And it just goes to show you that we do have examples of Arsenal being able to go on sustained runs. So I know we're not Man City. We're not the team that's chased down league titles in the past, but it is possible. I don't.
Can I ask you a question, Egal? Can I ask you a question also to you as Arsenal fan?
Yeah.
Who have you played in these last 2 games?
We played Sporting and Nottingham Forest.
Nottingham Forest, isn't it?
Nottingham Forest who beat Liverpool at home.
No, don't do that. No, don't do that. No,
Sporting who whooped your ass.
I know, but let's
Sporting who just lost their manager and
Sporting have been undefeated for 700 days in their ground.
Yeah, with that manager, the manager's gone now.
Yeah, but
hold on. That's the frustration you got. The frustration you have right there is because I'm adding unnecessary context to your win.
Thank you.
That's the frustration Liverpool fans have.
And you are supposed to beat Forest.
No, but don't forget, Liverpool. In the same breath, I understand that we've not been playing good enough for people to be sitting here saying, "Oh, Arsenal still."
No, but you say you're back, so we're asking you who you've played. Because look, Sporting beat City, but this Man City when they were in the peak, they beat Sporting 6-0.
Another reason why I'm saying I believe my team is going to start going on a run is because some of the teams that we have going forward, we should be beating. West Ham on the weekend, we should be beating them. Fulham, we should be beating them. Manchester United on Wednesday, we should be beating them.
Yeah, Fulham is not straighthtforward, bro. Let me just
I think it's fair to say as well. You have to also give context. To be fair to Arsenal, they have had their best player virtually Odegaard out for the whole season. I think that's a curse and a positive for them because everything goes through Martin Odegaard, and you can see the difference between when Odegaard plays and when Odegaard doesn't. But I genuinely think that's on Mikel Arteta because why does everything have to go through Martin Odegaard? Why don't you have enough quality in reserve? The reason why people are not talking about Liverpool in the same sense they're talking about Arsenal is because the players that have stepped in for us are doing the job. Whereas you don't have, when you take Odegaard out, you lose the whole creativity in midfield. You got rid of Smith Rowe in the summer. You got rid of Fabio Vieira and you brought in Mikel Merino, who's very, very similar. So you don't have adaptable players that can play the same role that Odegaard plays. I know he is so pivotal to the way that you play, but I think although that's a positive, I think that's a negative because when he doesn't play, you can see the drop off is there to there.
No, but 1 second. Understand when you're down to 10 men for 3 games in the league, plus you have one of your
whose fault is that though? Whose fault is that?
1 second. I'm not saying it's my fault or it isn't my fault, but I'm simply saying these things plus having certain key players out of your team, some of your most influential players out of your team, is going to negatively affect you. For example, the Liverpool game that we drew at our ground, we did not play you guys. Saliba was out, Odegaard was out, and we ended the game with Ethan, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Kivior, and Gabriel Jesus on the pitch. And it just goes to show you the drop-off.
was out, Ellie was out, Jota was out.
I understand, but I'm just telling you some of the players that we had missing and some of the key pieces that we had missing. I'm not sure how many of those guys would you say are on the level of a William Saliba or Martin Odegaard.
Alisson's the best goalkeeper
Just
in the
Lucy's
world,
good
and
though.
Jota's one of the best strikers in the league.
You put Jota in the same category as Odegaard and Saliba.
Jota is
For Liverpool,
is cold.
yeah, I gotta be real with you. I would.
Jota
Yeah.
is cold.
I would put Jota in the same category as Leandro Trossard.
You're
Very,
joking.
very important
No,
attacking piece
we're
in the
not doing this
puzzle.
again.
But he's
Again,
not. But he's nowhere
there's no
near
way
the-
we can do this. If you look at Jota's goal scoring percentages and records for Liverpool Football Club, it is far and away better than what Trossard is. Jota is one of the best strikers in the league. The problem with Jota is availability, not his quality. I hear Arsenal fans every single time I hear Arsenal fans talk about Trossard is he's good off the bench, but starting he's not great. Jota's good off the bench, he's good when he starts. Alisson's the best goalkeeper in the world. Saliba's not the best centre back in the world, and Odegaard's not the best 10 in the world. Alisson is the best goalkeeper in the world. But our players have stepped in and stepped up.
That's the thing, Egal. We've had players.
I'd say Elliot is on the same level as a Trossard if we're going to do that.
Oof, that's hard.
I would say Doku too.
But I think this is down to squad depth. Then you need to.
Now you got to keep Doku out of this. We're gonna talk about Man City in a second. We have to talk about Man City, but I'm just gonna end off by asking you guys this: do you guys believe Arsenal will go on a run? Forget about my hope and everything. Everybody's saying that I'm saying is delusional. Just let me know on the real. Do you believe Arsenal will go on a run?
No.
I think so. No,
I
I think so. You've got your whole squad back. I think there would be no excuse to do so. I think you've got a favourable run of fixtures. You've got Odegaard, Saliba back. There is no excuses. If you then go and lose one or two more matches in this run, then fingers are going to be pointed at you lot. You have no excuse, nowhere to hide. It's going to be completely on you lot. But I do believe, because from what I saw against Forest and Sporting Lisbon, you lot were impressive, and that's not a lie. I can tell you that as a rival fan. I watched those games very, very closely. You were impressive in those games. And like I said before, if I'm being consistent, when you win games on a spin, it does build momentum. And 2 wins out of your last 2, and you now got Odegaard and Saliba back. You had Saliba back, but now you've got Odegaard back, your main facilitator from the midfield. It's obviously going to give you a bit of confidence, and it's going to install that confidence in the fan base as well. And as a Liverpool fan, I'm not too concerned. And the only reason why I'm not too concerned is because of the points gap. Maybe if we had to go to the Emirates Stadium come February, March, it might be a bit different. But we've gone to your ground, we've collected points from you, and we've also got a 9-point lead ahead of you. And I think that's the context I'm going to give you. But I do believe you're going to go on a run because you are a good team. That's not a lie. The last 2 years and this season, you've had a bit of issues. But the last 2 years, you have to say your points tallies have been very, very good. And as a rival fan, I can tell you that I rate Arsenal as a club. I rate them I rate the players they have. I rate Mikel Arteta and what he's been able to achieve with your squad. I just think this season, because of your bad start, I think it might be too far gone. But it's a long season. It's a long season.
Can I ask you a question, Egal? Is Fulham and West Ham? Is it away or at home? Fulham and West Ham. Are you playing them away?
I think
West
Fulham's
Ham's away.
West Ham's
away. I forget if the Fulham game's away. 1 second.
So West Ham's away, Arsenal, Man
Fulham's
United's
away.
at home, and
Fulham's away.
Fulham is away, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
I think if you navigate the next 3 games ago, you'll go on a run. If you don't, then it will be a bit bitty and choppy.
Yeah. You can't afford to drop anymore. I don't think.
No, I agree. We can't afford to drop anymore. I expect us to beat West Ham. I expect us to beat Man United at home, and I expect us to beat Fulham and continue to try to keep that run going late into the year. And hopefully by New Year's, January time, Liverpool would have dropped some points, and it would be a lot closer, and people won't be speaking about it as a runaway league title race.
Do you know why I'm laughing, Egal? Because every time you make this speech saying I expect, I can bring you a clip. Every time you just say I expect to beat this one, when you line up, this is when your downfall happens. Arsenal fans, go and clip Egal. This guy might be the curse. This guy might be the curse. Every time he says expect.
I have 1 second. I have nothing to do with that because I predicted 4-0 wins and we've gone on to win 4-0 wins. I've predicted us to go on 7+ game winning streaks, and we've gone on 7+ game winning streaks. So it's not about this whole curse thing. I don't believe that this superstition that what I say will impact the team's performance. I have no direct correlation to what Bukayo Saka does if he makes a penalty or misses a penalty, if Havertz puts it away or doesn't, if Gabriel Magalhaes makes a mistake or doesn't make a mistake. I don't have any correlation to that. But hey, I hear people who do have superstitions. Big up to you guys, but I don't believe that.
I've got a question for you. Are you? This is going to correlate into my next question. Are you Arteta in or Arteta out?
Of course, I'm Arteta in.
He's an Arteta in.
Oh. If Arne Slot wins the league in his first season, what does that mean for Mikel Arteta, who has spent?
This is what I love, Paul. Wait.
I'll keep it real. If Mikel Arteta, if Liverpool win the league, forget about win the league. If Liverpool finish above us, I'm looking at Arteta differently.
Fair enough.
What?
That's reasonable. That's very fair.
Is that how confident? Is that how confident you are? You say finish above you. Finish above.
Yeah, because going into the season, I think I have a better team than Liverpool. I have more squad depth than Liverpool, and if we're not able to navigate it as well, and they go ahead and not only overtake us, but they go to win the league, I'm looking at Arteta, which I think is a better manager. I'm looking at the team, which I think is a better team, and I'm saying, is it really Mo Salah, Van Dijk, and these guys are the difference to that level, or is it you yourself made a mistake?
40 minutes, isn't it? Yeah, I'm gonna keep this.
Listen, I've been saying this. I don't think I think certain Arsenal fans disagree with me. Like I had Tom on the channel saying that there's circumstance on why Arsenal are in the situation we're in and Liverpool in the situation they're in. So you can't really judge the manager. But I'm judging Arteta based on the fact that he made mistakes in some of these games and it wasn't always perfect. And I don't think I think you guys being able to replace Klopp and get in Arne Slot and show how good you guys have been and other teams doing that in the past. I'm not against the possibility of replacing Arteta in the future if something does happen. But right now, I am fully behind the team, and I believe that we will get it right.
Do you think Liverpool had a good season last season ago in the league?
I think Liverpool, it was underwhelming, the ending, and I feel like you guys maybe burnt out at the end, ran out of energy.
If I was to turn around and say to you early in the season, McAllister got sent off for a challenge he shouldn't have been sent off for, and that got rescinded because they made a mistake. Luis Diaz had a goal chalked off against Spurs, which was wrongly chalked off. Jota also got sent off in that game where he shouldn't have been sent off. We had various other decisions which have come to light since the whole Coots situation that look very, very suspect. Not to mention some of the other decisions that went against us that shouldn't have. Not to mention some of the other red cards that went against us that shouldn't have. I'd sound like I'm making excuses, right? Why does no one ever say that about Liverpool's season last season?
Because last year you guys basically gave it up. You lost to Crystal Palace. You drew versus Aston Villa.
What about the injuries? What about the suspensions? What about the refereeing decisions? That must take a toll on the team. Like
you didn't lose. One second, you didn't lose the league by 1 point. You lost the league by 8 points.
Whether you lose it by 1 or 8 points, we were leading at one stage, and no one ever speaks about the injustice.
How about this? Arsenal fans
beating Spurs and not had
the year that we were told we bottled the league, a referee literally got sacked because he forgot to draw the lines in a game where we drew.
Fair. That's fair. I agree. That's fair.
No, but I don't disagree with you. But why does no one speak about that for Liverpool then?
Bro, no one speaks about that for any of us. No.
When you guys win the season before,
at the end of the day, for Liverpool and Arsenal, there has been corruption level mistakes that have gone down. And if last year alone, when McAllister got kicked in the chest was given as a penalty, not only do you get 2 points, Arsenal potentially could have won the league off the back of that.
Are you talking about the kick? The kick of Doku?
Yeah.
It's a penalty.
You're gonna smile.
In what world does a player karate kick somebody in the chest and not get given a yellow?
It's the Prem. Look at our game against Spurs.
Look at what we had to happen to it. We had a goal chalked off against us.
Yeah,
that's crazy. We had a goal given.
I've seen games where Arsenal had it quite favourable.
That's the thing.
Even the game against Emirates, Partey was getting every single decision.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know why people complain. Do you remember what happened to City and Spurs? Where he blew the whistle when Gage was through on goal? These guys are funny. And do you know what they say?
Yeah, but you lot deserve that. You lot get too many decisions.
Yeah, but I'm saying everybody has these dodgy moments and people just want to use them.
You know what? Talking about dodgy moments, let's try to wrap it up. We're going to talk about
handball at Anfield, bro.
You know what?
Oh, yeah.
CALLUM, on the record, whatever you want to do. Anytime you've seen me speak about that, I've said that they should have given you that penalty.
No,
and it would have. And if you scored that penalty, it would have leveled the score. From there, it would have been 0-0, basically 1-1.
Yeah, but it was a pen, isn't it? So you admit it's a pen.
Yeah, I've always said that. I've never.
so
I've
why-
never.
But
Also,
we also scored in that half as
in
well.
the same game. Also in the same game, Trent Alexander-Arnold should have been given a penalty against us. I mean, for us. Yeah, because he pushed out one of our players on the way to.
Oh, you're not giving that a pen, Egal.
Listen, I'm just saying we could do it both ways, but I verbatim agree with you on the Odegaard handball. I think that's a ridiculous call that they didn't give it as a penalty.
But that's the Prem, so
Yeah.
that's the reason why you can.
No,
that was
this is
last
why you
season.
win the league, bro.
This season, last season doesn't matter. Let's talk about this season. Last season doesn't matter. It's gone now. Let's talk about
This is
now.
why Man City always keep winning the league because the Premier
No,
League is
Egal. There was a header against Liverpool. They cancelled that goal saying because we fouled Alisson. Yet Arsenal, what do they do during the corners, guys? Arsenal were holding Edison down, and one was in front of Edison, and they gave you a goal. So what's that?
There's no
It's
way.
the Prem. It's the Prem. I'm just saying that it's the Prem. Nobody should complain. Nobody should complain. Everybody has had the moment.
There's a difference. There's a difference between grabbing a goalkeeper while he's jumping for the ball. And
he didn't grab him. He didn't grab him. He was just there.
1 second. And you know the goal that we scored this season at your ground, Gabriel Magalhaes' header. It was actually your own defenders that was in the way of the player also. You were never going to get.
But I'm saying
he was never going to have enough time to get over to Gabriel Magalhaes because your own defenders were in his way.
I'm telling you, Egal.
We crowd the box.
I'm telling you, guys. This is why I don't complain about refs because I've watched. I watch a lot of games.
People did it to us for years. Now that we're doing it, it's a problem. Fair enough.
No, everybody gets the bad end of the stick, guys.
Everybody has gamemanship. But guys, we need to talk about Man City and Liverpool. Man City are extremely vulnerable right now. Man City look extremely vulnerable right now. 51 minutes in, we haven't spoken about it, but they are in their worst streak in Pep's career. That's every club. He's never gone 6 games without a win. 6 games without a win. And the manner in which they dropped points last game, guys, I'm worried about Pep. Man was cutting his nose with his finger, going, saying, I want to hurt myself. Like, you need to relax, Pep. You can't be saying stuff like that. There's a lot of people out here that are vulnerable, and he had to apologize, of course. But like, no, you never want to see somebody resorting to hurting themselves. But right now, I'm worried for Man City. These guys went from being the team that nobody would feel sympathy for, and they always had 2 11s that were good enough to get top 4, to right now, I don't even know if they have a B team that can get them out of the relegation zone. That's how bad they look.
Can I thwart a mis narrative that's been going on for a few years? Patrick, I don't know if you'll agree with me here. This narrative that City have had 2 11s for a couple of years.
Thank you.
They really haven't. They've just had a robust 15, 16 players that they've relied on. They've never had, around 17, 18, 19, I'd say they had 2 full strength.
That time it was. That time failed. It was.
Then they haven't. Bro, Oscar Bob and all these lot have been on the bench for a while. They haven't had 2 11s. Their first 16 players were just extremely robust. So the likes of Rodri, the likes of Haaland, the likes of Grealish, all these players, Ruben Diaz, Ake, all these players just weren't getting injured. This is the first season where they started getting injured. But also the issue for me is they're over-reliant on Haaland. Before, back in the day when Pep had Sterling, Sane, Mahrez, Foden, who was chipping in with goals. These wingers were chipping in with goals. Doku ain't going to score you enough goals. Grealish ain't going to score you enough goals, and neither is Savinho. That's what the issue is. It's nothing to do with they've not had these 2 11s. I'd arguably say Arsenal and Liverpool have had better squads than Man City over the last couple of years.
Thank you.
They've had more depth. A
team with 2 11s is Chelsea. Chelsea has 2 11s. That's Chelsea.
Yeah. City ain't had depth for a while, but their first 15, Pep has been able to navigate, keeping them fit and keeping them performing to a high level. He's never been. I
just want to make it on the record. I was not celebrating Konate's injury. I was simply pointing out that it was a big blow for Liverpool. All of a sudden, Liverpool fans are saying I'm celebrating the injury for pointing it out. Come on, be better, Total Eclipse. And there's nothing for me to hold. If you guys have a player injured, I hope he comes back, and I hope we still catch you.
Yeah, apparently it's not a serious injury. It's just he's avoided potential ankle ligament.
So is it a grade 1? Grade 2? What is it?
Unlikely to feature on the weekend is what I'm seeing here from Lewis Still. But
if it's 1 week, that's a grade 1 then.
Yeah,
so
I think we'll be.
So that's 1 to 2 weeks.
I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be okay. I think Gomez can cover for Newcastle and Everton, but I'm worried about the City game if he doesn't play, which I don't think he will. But
even Kwanzaa, what's that kid's name? Kwanzaa, whatever them can even play against City.
Yeah,
It's got to be Gomez.
Kwanzaa's been going
Gomez
viral.
against City. Has to be Gomez.
Gomez has been ahead of him this season, to be honest. So
yeah.
especially centre back.
Yeah. Anyways, quickly, before we go any further, please do hit that like button, guys. Please do hit that subscribe button. We have over 226 of you guys in the chat. And of course, some of you guys might be your first time, so please do subscribe. If you guys are new, check out everyone's channels also. The link is in the description to Patrick's, of course, Sarib's, and Kopish. So go check that out in the chat. Now, before we go into the Man City game itself, I just want to ask you guys one more question about Arsenal. I've seen today on the Premier League website, Bukayo Saka is a Premier League great in the making. Do you guys do you think that's do people realize how good Saka is, or as rivals, like on the real? Do you guys take him in, or is it just
I rate him highly? I rate him highly. I just don't like the Salah comparisons.
I obviously Salah is much better than him, but Bukayo Saka, as a Premier League player who's played his whole entire career in the Premier League, do you know he's on pace right now to have a better GA output than Alan Shearer in his career?
One
second. You guys think I'm joking?
No, we get it, but why do you bring this spice to just say your player is good?
This is what I live for.
Yeah, comparing a striker to a winger with
Bukayo Saka is on course to be all-time Premier League great. This is not my words. This is Matt from Opta Analyzation. He analyzed it and he went into everything, right? So this is what I'm talking about. By the way, Michael Owen, what a player when he was younger. At the age of 24, he probably, Wayne Rooney and Robbie Fowler have the most goal contributions as a youngster. But Bukayo Saka is now in the mix with some of these guys. He's currently eighth on the list. And if you guys can see what I'm showing you, right?
Yeah, we can see it.
He's eighth on the list, and by the end of next year, when he turns 24, he could be in the mix with Lukaku and Robbie Fowler. He turns 24 next year September. So how many more GA could he add?
Can I tell you the only issue with this Saka thing? And look, I like Saka, and I know I've made jokes about Saka. It's just that sometimes Arsenal fans go a bit far, throwing the world class and one of the best they've seen. And comparing to Rodrigo, I think Rodrigo at Madrid is very good. It's just the fact that Rodrigo maybe doesn't get games. But the issue with Saka for me right now is where it's going to be, where people are going to also talk the same way as Alan and Thierry Henry said on TV to Harry Kane. Is one day when Saka is done, he better sit down on that table with us with trophies. Because if he just continues like this, nobody cares when you look at this list. Sometimes you have to do this and carry your team to a trophy. At least get trophies, you know. So big up to you, Saka. But Saka, if Arsenal keep not giving you trophies, you can come to Manchester. Even though
he's not going nowhere because you guys are going to be finished. Anyways,
we'll let you hold the Champions League. We'll let you.
By the way, I just wanted to point this out. You guys don't really need to say much on it if you don't want to. But Alan Shearer only had 29 goal involvements by the age of 24.
This guy is digging, you know.
Bukayo Saka currently has 94. That is 30. That is 65 more than Alan Shearer. Obviously, Alan Shearer went on to be the top goal scorer in Premier League history. You also have Frank Lampard, who had finished with 279 in third place in Premier League history, and he had way less than Bukayo Saka.
Have you seen Zinedine Zidane's stats?
This is why rival fans hate.
What are you trying to prove here? I don't understand. What are you trying to prove here?
I'm just saying, Bukayo Saka is on course, could be an all-time great.
See, look, Egal, you do things like this, yeah. You do things like this, and of course, people are gonna come for you. Just let him play his football.
I'm just reading the article.
Let him play. He's playing.
I'm just reading the article.
I've said this as well, and I get cooked for this one. I said Bukayo Saka, it's arguably been one of the best performers in the league this season, and everyone's come for me saying, "Oh, are you saying that Liverpool top of the league got Salah?" I didn't say he's been better than Salah. I said it's arguable he's been up there with Mo Salah. It's not a comparison of a player. Salah's miles clear of Bukayo Saka, and he's the pinnacle. Just let Saka play his football. He's scoring you goals. He's getting you assists. But just let him play. This is unnecessary.
Let him develop, man.
Just let him play.
It's not me.
How old would you say Michael Owen was when you looked at him and said, he's dropped off?
25, 27. between that.
How
age
many
range.
games? How many games has Saka played so far for Arsenal? If you just bring that list back up for me.
Saka on that list right now. Saka's played. What do you call it? He's played 181 games. Michael Owen, by the age of 24, which is a year from now, has
Hold on.
played
How old Saka now? How old Saka now?
23.
23.
So
Michael Owen at the age of 24 had a total of 138 games in 198 games.
He was burnt out. I think that's what happened to Michael.
you know where I'm going with this, right?
138 goal involvements in 198 games is incredible.
So how many more games has he played than Saka around the same age?
He's played a total of 17 more games.
Okay. You know where I'm going with this.
Saka still has a year to go, so he could catch him.
No, in terms of games, you're right. Saka's only 17 games off Owen, and Owen played a year longer, right?
Look at that. That's nuts. 38 to 98.
You're not seeing what I'm seeing, Egal.
Oh, you're saying he's gonna get burnt out.
I'm looking at
I'm looking at a player who is being overplayed by Mikel Arteta, who's been rushed back from injury by Mikel Arteta, who is on the way to burning out, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's also a lot of other players on this list who've had long, extensive careers.
Rooney burned out by what age? 29.
Look, Romelu Lukaku, Cristiano Ronaldo, Fabregas, Raheem Sterling.
Ronaldo left the league. Fabregas left the league.
Harry Kane.
Kane only really started kicking ball at around 23.
I'm not going to compare Saka to Cristiano Ronaldo, but then you look at Romelu Lukaku. He had an extensive career also.
He left the league. Please.
He left the league. Robbie Fowler by 25 had dropped off because he was burnt.
Raheem has dropped off at 27.
Your main point is I should be concerned that Bukayo Saka is going to have a major drop off.
If I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm concerned that Mikel Arteta doesn't know how to rotate properly. Bukayo Saka.
That's been clear though. I think that's clear.
Okay, how about what if I said the same thing about every great player? I think great players, they play every game when they're available. Your best ability is availability, and
but they get benched in certain matches. But Saka plays the Carabao Cup. I've seen Saka in the Carabao Cup. I mean, what is he doing?
Saka.
How old was Mo Salah when he came to Liverpool?
24, 25, 24,
2024. And what is he? He's now 32, right?
Yeah, 32. Yeah.
There's a reason the Premier League's called the most intense league in the world. There's a reason why certain players, when they start at a young age, unless they leave the league, drop off by like 27, 28, 29.
Dele
this is not a knock to his quality. This is not a knock to his quality. I believe he needs to be rotated.
There is a possibility anyone can drop off, but I think Saka right now, he is showing different things to his game and developing different things to his game to show me that
so are the others.
No questions about that though.
Hold on that list there. If you bring that list back up again,
you want me to bring it back up?
I'm going to say something you're not going to like here, but I'm going to say it anyway.
That Rashford? Are you going to give an example? Rashford is.
You're going to say everyone on this list is better than him.
No. I'm going to say Rashford, Kane at that age, and Lukaku are the only ones he's not better than. So the only ones he's better than. At the same age, Michael Owen was competing for Ballon d'Ors. Wayne Rooney was crazy good.
Raheem was golden boy. Raheem was the golden boy.
Cristiano was already being touted by Real Madrid. Fabregas was your best player. Sterling was an anomaly, and
golden boy. Don't forget the golden boy.
I'm not being funny.
To play devil's advocate, do you think Saka doesn't get the credit he deserves because he plays in the same league as Mohamed Salah?
No, it's not about Salah. I think it's about playing for Arsenal.
It's Arsenal fans. You lot push this narrative too hard.
Yeah.
You know what? I seen somebody trying to argue him being in the all-time Premier League 11 the other day. I was like, Carlene, what are you doing?
No, come on,
relax. You know, Carlene.
Do you think Saka's world class?
Yeah, he's been consistent for 5 years at the top.
No, not at the top. He hasn't been.
That's not the top. The top is the Champions League.
Statistically, he's been putting up that GA.
The top is the Champions League.
He's been performing in the Euros, the World Cup for his club, for his country, and he went from doing his first season 16 GA to now getting 34 GA.
God, please.
I rate him, so I'm not going to speak to.
I rate him highly. I just don't.
Yeah, but it's not world class though. It's not.
I'm looking at it, and I'm saying if Bukayo Saka is not considered world class, you guys have a higher bar for world class than I do.
I think if Saka performs for the rest of this season, then I'll be willing to say he's world class.
No, but I've been hearing that for the last 2-3 years.
Fair enough. I think he is a world class Callum.
He first came in, got 60, he got 12 assists his first season and like 4 goals. They said you need to do more. The next season he gets 7 and 7. They said you need to do more. The following season he gets what was it, like 10 and 14.
You think he needs to win something again?
More. Last season he did 20 and 14, and they're like, you need to do more.
Do you think he hasn't won?
Just say you need to see him lift silverware before you give it to him.
No, it's not silverware for me because I'm a Gerrard fan. I'll say Gerrard sits at the table with any midfielder in the league and he never won the Premier League. It's not. I can't. I never.
Oh, did we lose him?
That's probably Saka. Saka switched off. I'm joking. Saka was like, nah. Let me switch off this man's internet. Nah, I think he had
Saka didn't do that to you. What happened? You pressed the wrong screen.
Yeah. I never base individuals on team accolades. I think that's unfair. What I will say is I think Saka's last 2 seasons showed a level where he's performing close to world class. For me, world class is you've got to do it for at least 3 seasons and you've got to be in the conversation of being top 3 in your position in the world.
And you have to get into every team.
Can I show you guys something? Callum and Sarib, this is an Arsenal channel, but the chat fully agree with you. I just want to show you guys this. 85% said Liverpool can maintain their momentum.
Because it's true, Egal. It's true. You're the only one who has the hopium.
That is a significant number. 85%. Wow. Anyways, let's get into the game though. Man City. Let's be honest, bro. You're shaking it. You're scared, Patrick.
Prayers, Patrick. Prayers.
Let me tell you something, right? And I hope they don't. Yeah, I hope they don't cut off your channel. But I'm not gonna say anything very wild. I wouldn't be surprised if Pornhub decided to buy the rights to this game. Because I'm sorry, Liverpool fans, we've put you through trouble. And this Liverpool team, we've put them in the lowest moment. City have come and dunked on them. Remember the 5-0 when these guys were hungover? City showed no mercy. I'm telling you right now, as we're speaking, they will show no mercy. And I'm just telling people that if Pornhub doesn't buy the rights for this game, I don't know who else won't. Because I have a feeling that this might be pick. You know why? I've been watching Liverpool this season. And I was saying it to my friend. I was like, it's as if the football gods want to punish us. They know that right now we're very vulnerable, but even at our best, we're vulnerable to counters and transition. And then watching this Liverpool team, they are better at both. They can counter, good in transition, and they can just attack over the top. It's as if everything that City are struggling with, Liverpool, that's their strength. I'm telling you, Egal, I don't know why I decided. Something just told me that I've never done a watch along on my channel. You know this, I hate them. But I'm doing a watch along this Sunday because I just want to be there. Because this might be historical. Because I think this might be a game that they'll write in a book about. I'm telling you, it's not gonna be great. And you know what's funny? Somebody said, "Oh, this is the first time Man City are the underdogs. You guys never win at Anfield. You always struggle. So this moment why everybody sees you as an underdog might be the time that you're surprised." No, I'm real, Egal. You saw that game. I told this man, I said, final might actually cause us issues. And I remember I was at work and it was 3-0. And I told the guys, I was like, don't get excited. Let the game finish. And the funny thing about it, Egal,
Arne Slot's old team.
I know. Listen.
Chanting his name, Egal. They were chanting his name in the crowd as well.
And do you know what? The funny thing about it, guys, I made a video on my channel. And I made this video way at the beginning of the this season. I said, guys, we're going to suffer. And I said, even Ipswich were lucky. Teams kept on scoring. How many seconds? 40 seconds in the game. Ipswich scored 5 minutes, and then Brentford 40 seconds. The team did not look great. It was just Haaland rescuing us with his tap-ins. And then we played Southampton. That's when I told people, Bournemouth is going to beat us. Spurs is going to beat us in the league. I said, Liverpool are going to wipe us. Sporting are going to beat us. I was like, also, Brighton will beat us away. And they told me in the City group that, Patrick, you are too toxic. This is your plastic side speaking. And now every day they keep asking me, it's like, Patrick, how did you know? I was like, it's quite simple. Last season, Man City with Rodri, it was just a plaster. But every time when teams attacked us, it was bad. It's just Rodri was there, Diaz was there. I was like, right now, Rodri, the plaster is not there. But even this season with Rodri against Inter, we struggled. Did anyone watch the Inter game? We struggled. If Inter could finish, if Ratero was not on the bench or Ratero did not decide to be greedy, Inter were going to beat us at home. So I'm telling you, whoever has good hopium, especially Arsenal fans who are texting me saying, I hope you guys do something for us. You're joking. This Liverpool side just have to show mercy. It's up to Liverpool to say it's 3-0. Let's stop. I'm telling you, this is going to be bad. I'm just saying. Anyway, go ahead.
If Liverpool beat Manchester City, are Manchester City out of the title race?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. Look. I'm real. People keep telling me, "Oh, this happens to City all the time." No. This is dark. There's something wrong here. This is dark. This is. Did you see Pep on the?
This is pre-money.
Pep put his hands and went like this. It's there. The clip is there. He couldn't believe it. And his happiness, he was happy after 2-0. There's a clip of him going like this, hugging his, and then when it went 3-3, the man went to the floor and he went down. This is dark. And even Bernardo Silva said, we're in a dark place. This has nothing to do with Rodri anymore. This is also an issue with investment, Egal. The investment hasn't been great. I told people, I don't know if you saw my video when people started going after me on Twitter. I said, KDB has to become a sort of a player that you play in important games, but he has to be on the bench most of the times and come off the bench. We have to start looking for a midfielder like Vets or somebody to start creating, because Foden is not a sort of KDB Odegaard player. He is more of, give me the ball, I'll dribble into the box number 10. People told me that, oh, look at you, you don't know what you're talking about. KDB is very important. It's like, we have to not do the same mistake Liverpool did with Henderson and Milner. Guess now, we have a 34-year-old Gundogan who we were all twerking for during the summer. We have got a 34-year-old Walker who still thinks he's 27. He allows his winger to run thinking he's going to catch them. Brother, you're 24. You can't do that. And then we've got John Stones, who has played more games for England this season than Man City. John Stones is 30 or 31 years old. And then we've got Akanji now who's 30. The Bozo gene from Dortmund is now showing up. Then we've got Ake, who can't stay fit every time he goes to the international break. This City team just lacks legs and some of the players because of mental fatigue. I even said the same thing, CALLUM, and people called me plastic again. I said Bernardo Silva hasn't done anything great since Bayern and Madrid in the treble season. Oh, Patrick, you're wrong. Here we are. People are saying Bernardo Silva has to be dropped. Then, one more thing before I go, and before the other guys go, not before I go. I said this behavior, you've seen on Twitter, Egal, they hate me because they say I hate Jack Grealish. I was like, this behavior of worshipping Jack Grealish, saying all he does is hold the ball and we need control in a game, worshipping a winger who's got 14 or 13 goals in 3 seasons. This man has got 14 goals in 3 seasons. We were worshipping him. I said, be careful. This might become the standard at City, because we used to have Mahrez, Sane, and Raheem, who had a good standard of goals. These kids who come in like Doku and Savio, they'll say, oh, the standard is Jack Grealish. I might as well join in. Here we are. Savio, who was one of the best wingers in the La Liga. Now he's got 17 games, no goals. Doku, he was doing very well at the end of the season. That's why Jack Grealish was dropped, because people said Jack is important. Pep dropped because you win games by assisting and scoring. Look at us now. Where are we? Our highest goal scorer is Haaland. Our second highest goal scorer is our defender, Josko. Our third goal scorer is Nunes, who they call the flop, a Portuguese flop by City fans. Our fourth goal scorer is John Stones, who can't stay fit. Please tell me, do you think we're going to go to Anfield? Anfield, which is one of the loudest stadiums. Anfield, where we never win and get a result or a draw. We're lying to ourselves. Let's be real. We're going to get pumped. It's just a matter of Salah and Van Dijk, who's friends with KDB, maybe will feel sorry for us and stop.
1 second. Can I stop? Liverpool fans, how many times have you heard something like this from a top 6 team and they'd get a draw?
Go on, Callum.
Not like this, though. Not like this. Here's the thing. Everything Patrick's saying is right. However, football's not played on paper. Yeah. And I know Pep's sitting there right now saying, there's no way I'm bringing my team to Anfield, not necessarily to win, but not to lose, or not to lose in a bad fashion. And that's what worries me about this game. If we were like the third team to play them in this little rut, then I'm like, yeah, we got this.
Yeah,
There's
so that
something
early-
about this game, even though I think we'll win. There's something about this game that makes me think it ain't going to be cut and dry and easy. It's going to be a closer game than everyone thinks, in my opinion. I hope I'm wrong. And Patrick, I'm sorry in advance, bro, because if I'm wrong and we pump you, you're going to hear from me, bro. It just is what it is.
Well, can I ask you something? Do you see that counter attack you did against Madrid? The other one, which I don't know.
Yeah, where Diaz,
a lot
Diaz tried to dig.
If you do that to this City team, my God, I sat there, I was like, if that happens to us, it's going to be peak. I don't know. And the thing about Pep Guardiola, we've seen in the past with Liverpool, where he's actually dropped the line. Remember, he was so scared of Klopp, he dropped the line a bit. Against PSG, we dropped the line and countered PSG, and we beat PSG. But is he willing to do it? Because he keeps telling Walker and Josko to keep going in front, and we keep getting exposed. As I said, Walker is 34. Josko is good, but come on, Josko is a centre back. He's not that fast. So is he going to do that with Salah and Diaz? Is he still going to tell Walker and Josko to bomb in front? And he says Josko is one of our creative players. I don't know, Colin. I just think like you guys, Ryan, the way he's playing, and Szoboszlai, if he plays, McAllister, your midfield is much flexible than ours. I don't know. And then KDB, oh, I don't know, man. I never thought, I knew this was coming because I knew we're not investing. We were too relaxed. Alvarez leaves for 90 million. We keep that 90 million. Or City were actually didn't want to pay the 100 million for Bruno because they were hackling over a 10 million. Here we are. I don't know. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm just too negative.
I hope you're not wrong. I hope you're not wrong.
I've never heard Patrick like this. Usually Patrick's like very like positive.
It's dark times. These are dark times.
All right. I don't think the Liverpool guys have to say much. This is a revenge tour. You guys are looking to go. You're looking for blood.
Man said revenge tour. Man.
I just want to win the league. Whoever's in front of us week to week, this ain't about revenge against City because we can't win the league now in November. But what we can do is stop City winning it.
Yeah.
If that happens, it's a byproduct. I just want the 3 points.
Isn't it a good thing? Sorry, isn't it a good thing? And look, I believe in this because I used to play football and we used to play basketball, and our manager was sort of a Pep type guy who was so obsessed with. He used to coach both, but he was obsessed.
No,
not really. But you know what he used to tell us? He said, if the guys you're scared of, the team you're scared of, we're in a league and they are in a bad state. He said, don't feel sorry for them. Say, kill them and make sure that they continue sinking. I think Liverpool will kill us to make sure we stay where we are. Because if Liverpool grill us badly, do you know that Liverpool can be the team that gives us hope? I believe a draw with Liverpool or a decent game. Let's say we lose 3-1, but we have a decent game with Liverpool. It can actually have the boys saying, you know what, we haven't lost it. But if Liverpool grill us like badly, I think that's when the boys will be like, guys, we're dusted.
Are you worried that they could try to oust your owners?
What's happening?
They're proposing a bill that would change Man City's and Newcastle's owners.
This guy, man. You have notifications on this guy, man. Leave
Patrick, what I will say to you,
go ahead.
Ever since I've seen a Liverpool Man City game, I'm not talking about the battles that we've had over the years. I'm talking about more necessarily since we've had a drop off. But I think last season, I know we've beaten you a couple of times, we've battered you at Anfield a couple of times, and we've had some batterings from you lot as well. Last season, we drew the game, but that second half performance was probably the best I've ever seen Liverpool play against Manchester.
And you had kids on, and you had kids.
Yeah, exactly.
And people thought we were gonna beat you. Remember, they're like, "Oh, City are gonna win at Anfield," and we scored first in that silly pen by Edison, I think. So something, yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, I don't want to make comparisons to last season because I have to keep consistent. I said that about Liverpool's form, but I generally look at Man City now and your midfield and no Rodri, and that you had Rodri at that point as well. I think. Yeah, Roger did play in that game. I'm sure.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah. And you got likes of Bernardo Silva, who's 30 odd. You got Kovacic, who's 30 odd, and I think he's picked up a not Kovacic. John Stones is coming up to the latter stage of his career.
31, I think so. 30, yeah.
Aging. I think Pep Guardiola, what he's done, it's like he's got rid of everyone else that can get you goals, and he's solely focused on output to Haaland. And when Haaland's marked out of a game, which Van Dijk and Kanate have done in the past, especially Virgil van Dijk, I don't see where you score any goals. And you're coming to a ground already where your record with fans, I know that 4-1 when you had in COVID times, it's a ground you haven't won at since 2003 when there's been supporters in the stadium. Wow. And I think that's important to highlight. Your record at Anfield is already bad when you've been great, and now you're in a rot it could get really, really bad. But in hindsight, to play devil's advocate, you have not 1 in 6, and that's why I'm concerned, because it just takes one result for City, and what a game to do it. One of the biggest games of your season. You win that game, I think you're on a bit. I think you will be on a projection. That's why I don't know where to stand.
Best result for us is a draw.
Yeah, they've got 6 in a row. I think Callum said it as well. If this was the 3rd game that City have lost, I'd be more confident. I'm not saying Callum's not confident, but now you've lost. You haven't won in 6. I think that is a bit of a concern. Like, there's no way City can go on not winning 7.
Let me hear from Callum, and then we're gonna wrap up this section. Callum, what are you saying?
Do you get what I'm trying to say, though, Callum?
Yeah, of course I do, bro. I'm not gonna say I'm worried about the game. I'm just a little anxious because I don't think it's gonna be cut and dry, and I think Liverpool fans are going into this thinking we're just gonna pump City because of their recent run of results. I err on the side of caution. I think we'll win the game, but I expect it to be a very close game. I'm going 2-1 Liverpool.
You're being generous.
Once again, Patrick, if you're saying he's being generous, what are you going with?
You want me to be honest?
Yeah.
Somehow, every time I think about this game, 7 just comes in my head. 7-2.
I'd love it.
I'm telling you, God, and I'm not joking. I even say this.
You'd have to report me to authorities, Patrick.
Do you know that thing where you close your eyes, you're like, let me imagine the number. 7 keeps coming, and I was like, this guy's one stop, and this Liverpool side looks like they want stop once they smell blood. And I'm telling you, I'm begging you, Liverpool players, if you watch this, please. Just stop at 3. It's okay. And can I ask this question, Egal? Are we allowed to forfeit? Can we not show up at Anfield? Is that allowed?
No, you can't. You can't take a forfeit. That would.
Why did it have to be Liverpool? I would rather even lose 3-0 to Forest. I'd rather Forest pump us, because Forest, at least, they will make a few mistakes, but these guys are precise and clinical, and they will cut through us. And Gakpo, they can even play Gakpo. You know what? Egal, let me tell you, this is how bad it is. They can even play Darwin Núñez, and Núñez will shine.
All right, give me your score prediction quickly before we go.
Okay, on a real. Spurs beat us 4-0. Fine, or 3-3. I see 5-1.
You're really down bad.
I think do you know what's gonna happen? I even think this. Let me paint it for you. I think City score first and the Hopium comes in. So Haaland scores and it's 1-0. But guess what? Anfield rises and then they pump us badly at a point where
the worst you could get, in my opinion, is probably like a 3-1. But that's my score prediction anyways. What are you saying, Sarab?
To be honest, honestly, I couldn't tell you. If I'm being hopeful, I want to put a marker down and absolutely batter them, but I know football it's not played hypothetically, it's played on the pitch. And obviously Man City are a team that you have to be wary of regardless. They do have quality in their squad, and I saw us batter them last season and not get a result. So we do have the same players. Obviously last season, this season are very, very different, but I'm going to say 2-0. I think I would take any win. I would take a 1-0. I'll take a 2-1. I think any Liverpool fan would take the 3 points now. But I'm in the same notion as Callum. I think it was going to be a close game. I don't see a way that we batter you. And if we do, absolutely beautiful. But I don't see it. And judging by you, Patrick, you're more stressed than me.
I'm just being real, because look at what Sporting did to us. And Sporting,
bro, forget about that. You might not have owners by the end of the month.
Egal, what are you saying? Egal, what are you saying?
You guys not see this? You think I'm joking? This could be fear mongering, but the Times Sports basically came out and said, I don't know how reliable Times Sports is, guys, but they said that there could be a state controlled club ban in English football, which would mean Man City and Newcastle would have to change ownership.
Well, it is what it is. But right now, Man City is a big business, so they will end up somewhere. But that doesn't matter anymore.
There we go. Newcastle can't even do it. FFP's completely destroyed Newcastle. They're literally the same as they were before. They can't spend the money that they have. If they really wanted to, they could buy anyone they want. FFP's killed Newcastle. I don't think they need to change ownership.
What's your score prediction, Egal? Don't do the Hopium thing. Like real.
No. Honestly, on a serious note, I think it's just going to be like Liverpool win 2-1 or 3-1. I do think right now Liverpool look like the better team. The prediction is Liverpool to win. And hey, if they drop points, I'm going to be happy. I view Liverpool right now as more of a threat to win the league because of their league position and the points tally that they currently have. But I still think Man City, if they get going, they have a better chance to come back than we would if they get going, because they've done it so many times.
It'll be funny. It'll be funny if they'll call them, isn't it? If we actually, that would be funny that we have suffered at Anfield, and then when we are down dirty and nasty,
that's
like
why
this,
I'm saying
we go
I'm
there and then
cutting
win
dry.
even comfortably, and you're like, "What the hell is going on?" I would be surprised, but it's it's hopium.
But then you
Hey,
lose
Cal,
the next game.
Just before we wrap up, Egal, I don't want to draw this up, but this is why I've got some stuff to back up why I wouldn't say Saka's world class yet. We all agree on this here that Salah's world class, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Would you say Saka's in the same? Would you? So if we're saying Salah's world class, would you also say Saka's world class, right? Even if we're not saying Saka's,
I would say Saka's in like the top 5 in his position.
Okay. Since 2020 up until today, Saka has 88 GA. Salah's got 138 in the same period.
Okay.
Jared Bowen's got 74. Bowen's closer to Saka than Saka is to Salah. Saka plays in a better team with a better structure.
By the way, Saka's double, no?
Say again?
Saka's double what Bowen has, right?
No, Bowen's on 74 GA.
Okay.
Saka's on 88.
That's cool.
Okay.
Is Bowen world class?
No.
Why not?
Bowen's not world class because
Why is he not? If he's got similar, if his GA is not that further behind,
he doesn't do it for club and country.
He does it for country. I've seen him play good for country when he comes on.
No, Saka's done it on the World Club
Bowen's very
world stage. He's done it in the Champions League. He's done it in the Euros. He's done it everywhere.
But even if I'm just talking about Prem here, and let's be real, Bowen won West Ham a cup.
Yeah.
Oh, speak on it.
West Ham aren't in the same vicinity as an Arsenal, and he's close to GA. That's why I don't use the GA just to score someone world class.
That's cool.
Salah does GA, but he also does all the other stuff as well.
Saka also is one of the most creative players.
I ain't seen Saka turn up in a semi-final or a final yet.
Jeez, did you not see him versus Bayern score a goal?
Doesn't mean he turned up. He scored a goal. He didn't turn up in that game.
What do you mean he didn't turn up? He literally turned up.
No, let's be real. Bruv, Sane outshone him in that game.
I disagree.
This is cold.
I think Saka was really good.
It's cold.
By the way, Saka's better than Bowen. But you see how the GA argument can just skew things rather than just having a full outlook on the whole thing.
But I wasn't having a solely GA argument.
Just saying, this is why Arsenal fans, this is why as rival fans, we say to pump the brakes on the Saka being world class because he's not there just yet.
But then what more does he have to do?
I think he has to perform to a high level this season and then I'll start putting him in
No, but I've been hearing that for 5 years. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's because 5 years, 8 GA so I've gone through the last four full seasons in this current season. 8 GA, 18, 25, 25, and currently on 12. 25 and 25 puts you in that category. If he does it again this season, then he's there.
He did it last year. He got 25. This year,
that's what I said. 25
last year he got 35
last season.
35 last year.
Before. No, I'm just talking about Premier League because
all comps
25 last season, 25 this season before. If he does it again this season, then it's certified. But in a 3-year period or a 4-year period, Bowen's got 2 20+ GA in the league, and so is Saka. Salah's just off the charts, isn't it? Salah is what he is. But that's why I'm saying one more season of him doing it like this, and I think it's calm. But I think you're trying to force him in there because he's been your shining light for so long. And that's the frustration, I think, from rival fans. Unless he's coming from someone who highly rates Saka and has wanted Saka at Liverpool since 2020.
Egal, I have to go. I have a show in.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here, anyways. Big up everyone who's been watching. Really do appreciate it. It's been a great show. Thank you for your time, guys. Big up to everybody who's watching. And do me a favor, guys. I'm gonna be redirecting to my boy Vader. Please tell him that Man City are gonna lose to Liverpool. Just to rattle him slightly. Yeah, we're out of here, people. Catch you guys on the next one. Love for the love.
Big up.